Welcome, Smite fans, to week 6 of the Smite OPL, day number 2. And here, Andy, we have got the big matchups. First of all, we have one of the probably closest matchups we're going to see all split, if not all year. Avant Garde taking on Team Pandamonium. Then after that, we have Legacy up against Corvidae. In and of itself, not a particularly exciting matchup, but one that can decide the fate of so many teams this split. Legacy only need to take one game from Corvidae or better, and they secure not only themselves, but Alpha Sydney a spot at the Split 3 finals. But first of all, Andy, we have got the matchup everyone's been waiting for. Avant Garde taking on Team Pandamonium.
Ever since the schedule came out for this split, I was looking forward to this match from day one. And this one could potentially decide as well who goes into the LAN as first seed. Pandemonium is sitting on 17 points, Avant Garde is 15. Pandemonium, all they need to do is take one game and it makes their life 10 times more comfortable. The pressure is on Avant Garde right now, but they love the pressure. They love being the underdogs, as was seen at the Split 2 LAN, and they could potentially come up big here, as Pandemonium haven't been as impenetrable as they have seen in the past few weeks.
Well, I want to talk a bit quickly about Ro and El Chuckles. Now, this is actually, not a lot of people think about this, but this is one of the oldest kind of rivalries in OCE Smite. You know, they've played 20 games against each other, not counting these ones, and the series is 14-6, all time in favor of Ro. However, since the start of Split 2, it's a 4-4 even split, and if you go from the Split 2 finals, it's 4-1 in favor of El Truckle, so certainly starting to swing in his favor. I'm going to reel you off a couple of stats here, Andy. 73 kills to 79 kills, that's Ro to Chuckles, second and first in the league in kills, and 555 GPM to 569 GPM, third v first GPM Ro to Chuckles. So Chuckles having statistically the better season thus far. Pandemonium 1 point above Avant Garde, so both teams are very close here. Both of these players really at the top of the OCE scene. I'm very interested to see how this one plays out, and I'm especially interested to see what they pick here in the picks and bans.
We're going to go into them just in a second. But for me, I'm having a look at the supports right now. Richard Castle and Gruff have been the most adaptable supports in this split by far. You see them play Bacchus earlier in the split, and then in the exact same series, the next game, they're playing Gep. They're playing the more supportive supports. And that sort of adaptability coming out from pretty much everybody in this game is what separates Pandemonium and Avant Garde from the rest of the pack. And it's going to be difficult to see exactly what's going to happen in picks and bans, because if Avant Garde drafted a warrior, that could easily go into the jungle. If Pandemonium draft pretty much anything, it can go anywhere. I don't doubt the fact that Pandemonium can probably play a hunter as support.
One thing I want to, you talk about the supports there. Gruff and Richard Castle tied top in the league in, well, not tied top in the league. They're the top 2 in the league in assists. Richard Castle 186, Gruff 180. So definitely 2 of the better support players in the scene. Erlang Shen and Raijin banned away by Team Pandemonium. Jingwei and Ratatoska taken away by Avant Garde. So that, you know, this thus far, no surprises here. Taking the Erlang Shen away from Chuckles. Last time they played, he had a really good matchup against Kikyo Mio with that Erlang Shen in the solo lane, and so Team Pandemonium don't want that to happen again. And the Jingwei being taken away from both Max and Anochita, just denying a really strong pick. Terra going to be the first pick up here for Team Pandemonium. Now that suggests to me more that it's going to go into the support role rather than anywhere else. I don't think they've played it anywhere else, despite the fact we saw Zalia play that for Orbit. It's definitely something that in OCE is for a Guardian.
And in 3.19, of course, Scylla has been buffed, so no surprise to see her picked up very early on by Avant Garde. And combining with that Athena, constant barrage of taunts coming in. All they have to do is get one taunt, pop purification, go back in a few seconds, get another taunt, and Scylla gets a free kill with Armor Monster. Very scary lineup so far from Avant Garde. It's going to be met by a Freya Neath combination from Pandemonium, and both teams now are on a clock to try and win this game as quickly as possible, because the hyper carries are coming out in full force.
Amaterasu picked up for Chuckles here, one of his favorite solo laners. I'm actually looking at you know, these guys' records on what they've picked here so far. So it's going to be Neath mid Freya ADC. Cheetah's played 3 games of Neath, won 3 games. Maxon's played 2 games of Freya, won 2 games. Richard's played 4 games of Terra, won 4 games. On Avant's side though, Divine hasn't played Scylla this split. Gruff hasn't played Athena. Chuckles has played 3 games of Armor and won only 2 of them. You know, comparatively speaking to Team Pandemonium, they're playing a little bit risky here, not, you know, kind of going back to old default picks, which actually slightly favors Avant Garde, because means Team Pandemonium don't know how they're going to operate on these gods, whereas Pandemonium's fix, Avant-Garde, a lot of familiarity with them. New bans coming through, we can see Avant-Garde targeting the solo lane here. Sun Wukong, Raven taken away, Sylvanas and Kumbhakana taken away by Team Pandemonium, looking to limit what Gruff can play. So I guess they're assuming that Athena's going to be in the jungle.
Well, we have seen a reprisal of Athena jungle, a lot more CC coming out of that jungle role, but it's going to be Ymir picked up. And this leaves a flex pick option. They can put Athena or Ymir into the jungle and put the other one into the support role, depending on which one gets the better matchup. Gonna have to wait to see what Pandemonium pick up in the jungle before we decide who goes into the jungle for Avant-Garde. Tyr and Naja picked up. Difficult. I think it's slightly favored
Yeah, so I think that's going to be a Ymir in the jungle rather than Athena, just because Ymir can block off Naja's mobility just a little bit easier than an Athena can, whereas Athena has like a taunt and she can dash after the Naja, but it's the Ymir pick I think is really suits the jungle style more for Avant-Garde. Hoyi pick up very nice here for Rob Diggity. It's something that he hasn't played, but you know, it's something. He's played it once this split. Hasn't won though with it, but it's something that's starting to come back into a little bit of favor. We saw Arkle play it for Sanguine in the EU group stages, so maybe it's making a bit of a comeback here in the OCE region. Tyr. So I'm going again through Pandemonium's picks, all very familiar picks. Kiki and Ro have both played their respective picks here one time and won both of them. So Pandemonium, very high, 100% win record across the board on all their picks, which is scary in and of itself. What's scary for them looking at advanced picks? Very unfamiliar. Gruff hasn't played Athena. Liquid Renegade hasn't played Ymir. iDivine hasn't played Scylla. So this is all stuff that Team Pandemonium is going to struggle a little bit maybe to combat against.
And we're in the game right away because on the red side.
All right, it looks like we're having some technical issues with Alpha here, so we'll see if we can resolve them quickly as we start off the game. Some deep wards placed already by Avant-Garde, who are on the red side of your map, and some defensive wards placed by Team Pandemonium, looking to counter and invade, something that Avant-Garde are very noted for here in OCE. They like to do that a lot. We've seen them really abuse the invades in the early game at the start of the match, because Chuckles is just such a skilled solo laner. If he can take away the blue buff at the start of the game, he's almost guaranteed to win lane and to just absolutely dominate the fights from there. What I'm really interested in is how iDivine's going to do in this mid lane with the Scylla. Yes, she recently got a buff to her crush that makes her early clear a little bit easier, but up against Anith, who's got some of the best early clear in the game. You know, Chaos was on the Domination podcast this week and talked a lot about that kind of first wave. And if you're getting shoved under tower with the first wave and you're not able to exert pressure onto mid camps, it can really hamper the whole of your game. What we're actually seeing, though, from both teams here is that the junglers have stuck around a little bit longer in the solo lane rather than rotating for the mid camps. And now Avant's going for the fire creeps, and Avant's going for the right-hand side mid-camps. They're going to pull those together, share the experience. Ochita can't get any mid-camps, so he's going to lose out on a little bit of farm here.
And it's strange to see that Scylla's the one getting pressure in the mid lane. Usually you see her pushing on the tower for the first few waves, especially against a high clearing god like Neath. But the early rotation from Liquid Renegade means that the early game from Scylla cannot be punished as easily by Pandamonium.
Ro's still here in the solo lane. He's hit level 5 with level 3, I should say, Kikyo Mio. So just trying to get El Chuckles to lose as much experience at the start as they can to give Kikyo Mio a bit of an easier time in this matchup. And you know, that's not a knock on Kikyo Mio. That's just a sign of respect towards El Chuckles mid lane here. Ro sashes onto iDivine. A lot of damage coming through the Spirit Arrow, and Ochita picks up the first blood, heals himself off with the Broken Weave, backflips away, clean kill and gank for Team Pandemonium.
iDivine electing not to use Purification now. Liquid Renegade trying to send out Ochita, but to no avail. Missed the freeze, crucially, which cost iDivine his life, unfortunately. First blood for Pandemonium sets him up nicely going into the very early stages of this game. And Naja should be able to hit level 5 about the same time as Ymir, and might be able to get a kill onto him as well.
And if you're behind as a Ymir, it's really difficult to play into the rest of the game, because essentially then you're lacking in a little bit of damage from behind. If you're even or ahead, Ymir does tremendous amounts of damage. Behind, you're essentially a freeze and wallbot. Now, that is still really powerful and potent, especially given a Scylla. So I don't think Liquid Renegades, you know, necessarily worry too much if he does fall behind. But you know, I think as you were saying, he's actually ahead of Ro. I guess that's due to the mid camps. Avant getting all the mid camps.
It was due to the mid-camps, but he should have been ahead in gold. Instead, he's even in gold, just ahead in experience. That's because Ro got that first blood assist bounty. First blood, obviously, going on the way of Ochita. But both jugglers picking up the Wrath here, going for the more utility team-oriented relic, looking to get some early objective control over on this left-hand side. Renegade not getting Blink hampers his ability to gank effectively, whilst for Ro, he's fine with it because he's got that distance closer with that sash.
Well, as well as that, Liquor Renegade doesn't necessarily need to be the one to initiate. They do have Gruff on this Athena who can dash in and taunt. Obviously, earlier in the game, they're not necessarily looking. They're not going to be able to, because Gruff has only just hit level 5, and as well as that, he's a support. He wants to stick around duo lane a little bit. But looking at advanced team comp, they don't necessarily want to fight early. They're just waiting for the Scylla to get towards the late game where her Crush can half health or 3/4 health everyone, and then just destroy everyone with her ultimate. So Avant are happy to farm up towards the later game stages because, you know, the difference between the Scylla hypercarry and the Freya hypercarry is the Freya's more single target damage, whereas the Freya can absolutely, the Scylla can absolutely devastate the whole team.
The Scylla can devastate the whole team if given the proper setup, which is what they have with this double Guardian composition. CC coming out left, right, and center from Avant Garde means that Purification is a costly relic to use for Pandamonium if used incorrectly. And just will basically cost him a kill. But over on this right-hand side, blue buff invade coming out. Kiki and Mio, he does not pick this one up. Oh, Chuckles gets it.
Chuckles taken low here. Ro and Gruff rotating in. And Neathol came out, hit El Chuckles, but there's no follow-up off the back of it here. Liquid Renegade appears to have caught Ro out in his own jungle. Taunt into the crush. Ro walled in, nowhere to run. Gruff gets the kill. Divine has his Armor Monster up. Doesn't hit Ochita, who backwards beautifully away from the damage.
Oh, it avoids a lot of damage there with the Sentinel as well. Not only does he avoid the Crushing Earth, also avoids the Spear and Arrow Weave Detonate combination from Ochita, and puts himself in a good position to attack these left side Harpies with the rest of his team. Experience, again, going the way of Avant Garde.
I really like this Ymir pick. I talked about it a bit in the picks and bans about why I would like to see it go more than support, and it's because of those walls. You know, Ro, his mobility is all direct line movement. There's no jumps. He's got his sash, and he has his ultimate. Gruff dashing in, actually manages to taunt Richard Castle. Crush comes down, Ochita roots in through, but Liquor Renegade goes down into his ultimate. Richard Castle, a shell and dash away here. Ochita backflips, Crushing Earth used by Richard Castle. He's healing himself, and Ochita up. Rose here now. Ring toss comes out, a lot of damage, and he takes up Liquor Renegade into the air, waiting for Ochita down below. Ochita shoots him with a Spirit Arrow and cleans him up. Liquid Renegade claims another kill for Team Pandamonium.
A bit too aggressive there with Avant Garde going too deep into the enemy jungle. Ro with a good wraparound gets another kill for his team. Again goes away of Ochita. I like the fact that they got kills, Pandemonium, but they need to try and make sure that Ro's getting some of them. Just try and get him a bit further ahead of this Ymir.
Exactly right. I actually really like what Liquid Renegade's doing here now. Into an Imperial helmet and then probably going into a Celestial Legion helmet to get that anti-crit helmet that's the most physical protection in the game, plus some magical power. Really, it's just kind of a perfect item for Ymir against this Team Pandemonium comp.
If he goes into the Celestial Legion helmet as well, he avoids a lot of the damage coming out from Naja, which is mostly crit-based damage, especially the Windfire Wheel's ultimate. But it's going to be a lot harder for Ro and Ochita to get a kill onto this Ymir, meaning he can dive a lot deeper and just set up a lot more for Divine.
Solo lane, Chuckles used the dazzling offensive onto Kikimio, who was forced to use his Lawbringer to get away. Chuckles tried to get the kill at the end there, but Kikimio manages to back off. He doesn't have teleport available for another 13 seconds. No wave in the lane, so Kikimio, happy with that exchange, gets his farm up and gets out of lane. But he is 2 levels behind Chuckles.
That's strange considering Ro was there to try and help Kikimio get ahead, but by doing that he sapped a lot of experience and sapped a lot of gold away from Kikimio while Chuckles got solo farm. And from the fact that he got a level ahead early on, has been able to press his advantage, take away buffs, take away these fire elementals consistently to build up a 2nd level lead and a 600 gold advantage.
In terms of just the game in general, Team Pandemonium's leading in kills, but Avant's actually leading in experience. A hefty actual 2,000 experience difference, 1,000 gold difference. Make that 3,000 experience difference as it just left up then on the grass between these two teams. So Avant playing the longer game a bit more successfully than Team Pandemonium.
Well, it's just this scare factor of coming out from a double Guardian into a Scylla. I mean, if you turn around the corner and they're there, and Avant Garde's in the corner and they see Ochita, Richard Castle, and Ro, I know who I'm more scared of. And it's going to be that Ymir, Scylla, Athena. Yes, they're all 3 magical-based damage gods, but they do so much damage early and have so much control that it's ridiculous to try and fight into it.
I mean, it's just a scary god in general, man. Especially that Kaka Demon skin. Do not want to see that coming towards you in the jungle, especially with the speed buff.
Max in a lot of trouble, forcing to go into the Valkyrie's discretion, as well as the Terra's Blessing ultimate coming out. The taunt comes out, but immediately purified. Maxon probably didn't need to use it there, but in the mid lane, Ro and Ochino do what they can, and are probably going to kill this Liquid Renegade.
And they do successfully pick up that kill. Ro a little bit low here. Chuckles has TP'd in as well. Rob Diggity low. Divine low. Kikimio caught out here, dashed on by Chuckles, but manages to get away. Gruff gets the taunt off onto Kikimio. He's not terribly tanky at this point and takes a lot of damage there from the Hou-Yi, but he's going to be able to back away now. So another kill going the way of Pandas, another kill going the way of Oshida.
It's just constantly incrementally getting kills off Pandamonium, catching out rotations, catching out people by themselves, and capitalizing on it with the fact that they can banish them with Ro and set up on the ground with Oshida and Richard Castle if he's there. Unfortunately, Avant could not get the kill onto Maxwell in their rotation, but they forced Purification, they forced Valkyrie's Discretion, which opens up a window for a kill onto this Freya. They need to take advantage of that.
I want to take a look at player damage here. Look at this, Oshida.
Kikimio! He's dead underneath the tower. El Chuckles with the solo kill. Ro doing what he can to try and put some redemption in this lane, but it's too little too late.
Yeah, El Chuckles should be able to get away from this one. With 3 levels behind, what can you do here as a Naja? Not really much, especially when there's a full Breastplate of Valor online for El Chuckles on their Amaterasu. She's got the mobility to get away, she's got the protections to get away, and she's got the damage to take you on 1v1.
Well, having a look at the builds from Avant, who can Ro realistically kill by himself at this point? El Chuckles has got a Breastplate of Valor. Jade Manson Helm has been built up by Liquid Renegade, and Divine Graph is going into a Breastplate already. And in the mid lane, it's going to be yet another potential kill, but Purification has been forced onto Ochida once more, and this is the power of the Athena pick.
Exactly right, forcing out the beads, and later in the in this game, the fights are really going to start to make a difference when these beads get burned.
Especially if Liquid Renegade does go into the blink option. He may like to go to Purification just to keep himself alive a bit longer, but Gold Fury being started up here. Ro's nowhere near, so the Wrath is not available for Pandamonium, but leaping in now is Ro. Liquid Renegade is low. Avant have destroyed the Gold Fury before he dies.
That whoop was excellent from Maxim, but it's not going to be enough to turn this fight. Ochida got himself a kill, but Divine is now cleaning up, and Team Pandamonium looking for some retribution after that Gold Fury.
And they get 2 kills, but they trade out Richard Castle for it. Unfortunately, Ro cannot get into the fight in time. Both junglers using their Wrath. Liquid Renegade uses his 2 seconds earlier and it secures his team at the Gold Fury objective. But now they may lose this tier 1 tower on the left-hand side as Pandemonium are grouping as a 4, and El Chuckles is doing what he can to defend it.
And here comes the Athena ult being channeled down. Ro taken low here. He's going to fall down to Divine, but Chuckles is cleaned up by Ro just before he dies. And now Team Pandemonium forced to back away. Excellent defense from Avant, and really that's the strength of this Athena, this global ult.
And El Chuckles sacrifices himself at the tier 1 tower, which is not the worst trade in the world, considering he also managed to get his team set up for a kill onto Ro.
Alrighty, Graphs, this stage, the lead has been withdrawn a little bit here. 1600 experience, 1200 gold. So even though Avant have an advantage in this one, it is actually a little bit lower than what we saw earlier. Team Pandemonium with 6 kills, 4 of which are on to Ochida. And what I really like from Team Pandemonium's composition is that the early stages of the game, they can stay relevant with Avant-Garde. They can burst someone down. And so that's what they're doing right now, is they're kind of taking advantage of that. They're using that Naja to exploit kind of the lack of mobility on the side of Avant-Garde coming up from like Liquid Renegade and Divine once his Sentinel is down. Using that then to set up for Ochida, who's got a lot of burst damage with full stack Transcendence.
My issue though with Pandemonium's team comp is that it's very single target oriented, whilst the side of Avant-Garde excels massively at team fights. And the later the game goes, the more your team fighting, the more your group does a 5, which favors Avant-Garde's comp massively. If Pandemonium got some form of lead early and tried to snowball with that, that would be playing to the strength of their comp. But Avant-Garde just playing a bit passively in the early game, looking to get picks where they can, but not really looking to engage hard. It's favoring them and favoring their strength of their team comp.
Well, I think you do the Neath a bit of a disservice. We could see Ochida going for a heavy Macy that suggests to me either a Jotun's Wrath or a Brawler's Stick. You get a full penetration Neath. Those Spirit Arrows are absolutely devastating, particularly if they explode a Broken Weave. So I think the burst damage is still there later in the game, but it's just not kind of your traditional burst damage, and it requires a little bit more skill to land a Scylla Crush.
Well, El Chuckles and Kikyo going at it again. Kikyo maybe getting soloed once more. El Chuckles with the second solo kill on this game. Handling Kikyo, and Ro unable to get anything over here. But left-hand side, again, the dive coming out, and Maxon returns.
Yeah, solos on one side, solo on the other. These teams training back and forth, individual kills. Mid lane, I'm a Monster comes through, misses Ro actually, as he uses his sash to gain immunity frames. Excellent play there, Neath ultimate onto Liquid Renegade. Ring toss comes through, but an excellent route from Divine. Ro can't use his sash to get out, there's no minions there. Gruff taunts him in, Liquid Renegade finishes him off with a freeze. Ochita backflips away, but Divine sentinels forward. Great aggressive move there. Ochita trying to stay alive as long as possible, but there's no one coming to the rescue. Maxon's here, but it's too late. Two-man whoop, nothing to find here. Liquid Renegade double kill.
They took out the Emir, they could have got a kill. Richard Castle gets routed out as well. The taunt comes out, the CC chain is brilliant, and it bursts down. Ooh, Richard Castle just surviving there. Hiding the Urchin, giving him just enough protection to just enough HP to live. But Avant coming up big here in this game as they look to try and take down this mid tower.
Kikyo is going to TP in here. It gets taunted in by Gruff. He might actually TP into death here. He manages to feel his Chuckles into the wall, but the crush comes through from Divine, and Kikyo TPs in, lasts about 5 seconds, and is taken down. Mid-tier 1 tower should fall here to Avant. It does. Maxon looking to get a kill in Retribution, but it's a 5-man grouping here. Ro comes through just in time to prevent Maxon from falling down. Richard Castle has come back. Crush comes through. Ro goes in, takes one up into the sky. He's got Divine crits coming through as well. Damage coming down from the Suns. Neathol tanked by Rob Diggity, and Pandamonium get nothing. Avant get everything that they wanted.
Great team play from Avant, but Kikyo teleporting into that tower was a suicide mission. Yes, he's a tier. Yes, he's in theory tanky, but he's only got physical protection online right now, and he teleported into 3 magical damage sources, including a Scylla right now, who is sitting at 240 magical power at 14.5 minutes into the game. Cannot go into that without some form of magical defense.
That's really scary. This Scylla, with her crush, she's got a full rank that's doing 320 damage plus 90% of your magical power. You know, 90% of 240 is what? 216? So that's 536 damage coming out from that.
Well, that's before mitigations.
Yeah.
It will do about 450 at this stage of the game, realistically. But Gold Fury potentially being started up here with Pandemonium, but it looks like it's going to be a bait. They're looking for the 2 Guardians, especially Liquid Renegade, and they may be able to burst him now with the magical damage coming out from Maxon.
Rob Diggity jumps away, dazzling offensive victory from Chuckles, and they actually do manage to prevent the kill onto Liquid Renegade for a moment. Maxon uses the Valkyrie's discretion to get it, knock up into the wall. Kikyo gets a 2-man crush from Divine with a brilliant route there, and Team Pandemonium, they get the pick. And that's really what they needed to be doing, is exploiting the lack of Ymir's mobility, but thus far they've been reacting to what Avant's been doing rather than proactively finding that pick. Divine throws down the crush just to prevent Pandemonium from coming through onto this tower. Whooped up into the air is El Chuckles. Maxon coming through with the pulse. Kikyo knocks up 2, but now he's getting turned on by Avant. His team might be able to get the tower, but he might fall down. No, Lawbringer over the wall will secure himself. Ro dives in, doesn't get anyone with his ultimate. Crush comes through, immunity frames from the sash. Ro barely lives here. I'm a monster from Divine looking for someone. He hits Maxon, but it's not enough for a kill. Root not on the mark. Ochita picks up the kill onto El Chuckles, and Pandemonium now suddenly with a little bit of momentum here and looking to pressure this mid-tier 2 tower. Ultimate comes through from Ochita's Spirit Arrow, picks him up. No, it's Maxon getting the kill there in the end with the pulse. Liquid Renegade and Gruff trying to defend this tower, but with 5 men of Pandemonium here, it's going to be very difficult for these double Guardians to do. But it looks like actually the minions are going to do it for him. Liquid Renegade walls off Gruff, and Pandemonium back away.
High single target damage from Pandemonium allows them to get the first pick and just snowballs them into pick after pick after pick after pick and gets them the mid tower. Pandemonium coming back, showing that they're not going down without a fight. We have a game here.
And this is exactly what we've wanted all split. These 2 teams going at it. You know, in the finals, it was a 3-0 Avant. This split, they had one set against each other, 1-1. And now we're seeing, you know, this is I'm confident in saying these are the 2 best teams in OCE right now. Their stats suggest it, their records suggest it, their players suggest it, their experience suggests it, and this game is more than suggesting it, it's affirming it.
I think also the standings confirm it too. Sitting at 17 points, Pandemonium Avant sitting at 15, and it's a very close game, very cagey affair, but not one without aggression, as Maxon is finding out to its demise, but he's trying to turn that on to Liquid Renegade and Rob Diggity as the rest of the rotations come through from Pandemonium.
Rob Diggity taken low here. Rob Diggity taken down. Liquid Renegade in the ground as well. Ochita picks up a kill as well as Maxed. So it's a 5v3 advantage. And this is what Pandamonium can do. They can burst someone down before the Athena ultimate comes through. They need to stay grouped as 5 here and try and pick off individual members of Avant Garde. Avant, though, 5v5 team fight. That is when it really gets scary. As long as they keep getting picked like this, though, Team Pandemonium are going to find kills. They're going to find a lead. And they're looking to start up this Gold Fury.
Well, you said it just there. Pandemonium were grouping as a 5. Avant-Garde currently are not. They're still split up in groups of 2, groups of 3. And trying to defend I-Divide right now is Gruff, but does not able to set him up for I'm a Monster, which comes through, hits 2 people. But El Chuggle's doing what he can to help save Gruff.
Gruff was taken up in the sky there, managed to get out. Maxon, for his discretion, it's going to be Ochita who's claimed the kill there. Ardivine forced out of the fight as well. Pandemonium relatively unhealthy here, but they do have a Terror on the side of Richard Castle to heal them up, and that's going to enable them to sustain through this Gold Fury. Ardivine, El Chuckles here. Ardivine being forced out by that Crushing Earth. Gold Fury still up. Pandemonium secure it, but the Crush does so much damage to the Pandas, and wisely they sound off on the disengage here, running away, but Chuckles is chasing them. Max is starting up this red buff here. He needs to be careful. He picks it up, he does, and he should be able to walk away.
Oh, but look at Renegade as Blink is going to blink onto Ochita in the middle. Gets a good freeze. A Glacial Strike is there as well. Good route, but Ochita's got nowhere to run, and Rob Diggity claims the kill. 13-9 as the rest of Team Pandemonium look to defend their tier 2 tower in mid.
Kikimio goes in, fearless combination, but he falls down to Gruff. 5 men of Avant-Garde. I told you, their 5-man is really scary, both with their players and with their current team composition. They should get this tier 2 tower here and pretty much completely nullify that Gold Fury.
So one of the problems which Avant-Garde did struggle with in Split 2, and less so in Split 3, was their willingness to help try and get everybody from their team out of a sticky situation, which ended up costing them some more kills than they really should have given away. But this composition that they have really excels at getting everybody out. The amount of CC that they've got, the amount of wall blocking on the right-hand side, El Chuckles, too greedy.
Trying to steal the speed buff away. I don't know if he actually managed to get that one.
He got it, he got it.
Yeah, he did. He dropped it down. Axon picks up a kill there. Again, though, I mean, even though El Chuckles is down for about 40 seconds here, taking the speed buff away from Ro, reducing his rotational capacity, which Avant-Garde with this Athena pick have got probably a better rotational ability at this in the game.
Well, I'm looking at the jungle matchup right now. Ro, Liquid Renegade, and Ro slightly ahead in gold, but massively ahead in terms of experience. It's only just procced into level 15 as Liquid Renegade, whilst Ro closing in on that level 17. So Ro's certainly more effective in terms of levels, but Liquid Renegade, he doesn't need the levels to be effective. He's just bringing his CC, which is his freeze, his slow, and his wall.
What I like from Ro here is he's got a very penetration-heavy build here to ensure that his Ring Toss and his Armillary Sash are doing a lot of damage to this double Guardian set, rather than focusing on crit, which he knows, you know, with these 2 Celestial Legion helms being picked up, is not going to do as much as he would like. Liquid Renegade, poking his head around the corner, sees some men from Pandas here. El Chuckles and Gruff and Rob Diggity all here as well. Maxon soloing the blue buff, but going to be forced off it by 4 men from Avant-Garde. Pandemonium will look to siege the tower there. Going to back away despite having a numbers advantage.
I like the pickup from Kikimio as well, the Spirit Throne. A lot of the damage from Avant-Garde is coming out after CC, so picking this up and mitigating that damage by 15% means it's going to be infinitely harder to kill him. But Richard Castle, he's not going to have that luxury of having that item, and he's going to get bursted here.
Bursted down. The CC combination, the CC chain there was incredible from Avant. And you know what's important is that there's no DR on your mirror walls. It's just there. You can't get through it. Kikimio knocks up Chuckles there with the cleave combination. Chuckles though able to walk away very tanky this stage in the game. Ro and Ochita hang around, but pretty much at this stage, it's Avant-Garde dictating what they want to do. And it looks like they want to siege this tower now. Richard Castle down for another 14 seconds here. Avant-Garde, they can engage here and pick off any member that they'd like. They need to be careful of the burst coming through from Ochita. Gruff goes in, taunts in 2 members there. Ultimate from Ochita, ultimate from Ro, both onto Gruff. They're committing a lot to this tank here. Gruff doesn't fall down. Chuckles, dazzling offensive onto Maxon and Ochita. Maxon up in the air, Valkyrie's discretion. Divine uses the Armor Monster. Kikimio, power cleave combination, gets 2, but he doesn't get the kills. Divine is the one that claims the life of Kikimio. Divine really low here now. Ochita tries to get the Spirit Arrow, but it's not enough to pick up the kill. Everyone on Avant is very low. They don't necessarily have the same sustain that Team Pandemonium do, and Maxon at this stage, very, very difficult to handle, particularly with that pulse. But Avant, call the retreat. They got a pick. They're not able to get the tower. Successful defense from Team Pandemonium.
And what you didn't see there was when Gruff went in and got a taunt, Kikimio got a full-man Fearless to keep the rest of Avant away and stop the follow-up coming out from that double taunt. And it actually saves them the tier 2 tower and saves them from getting wiped there. Maybe even get them the Fire Giant, which has started up. They saw the rest of Avant back. This is a fantastic call of Pandamonium. They're going to get the Fire Giant.
Yeah, excellent call here. It looks like, though, Gruff and El Chuckles are going to manage to get in here. Chuckles actually stops them from doing the Fire Giant. Gruff knocked up by their Fearless Power Cleave combo, but Maxon is able to claim the kill instead of Kikyomiya. But the rest of Avant is here. Liquid Renegade starts the Fire Giant. He picks it up with the Wrath Pandas. Kept at leash. Maxon tried to get the kill onto Rob Diggity with the Valkyrie's Discretion. Excellent double tap off the Emir wall, and Maxon's fall down. Rob Diggity shuts down the ADC. Kikyomiya left all alone here. Rob Diggity doesn't knock him up. 3-man Power Cleave, but no, it's not enough. Chuckles claims the kill, and Pandamonium, they might have thrown it all away in that one play.
Okay, El Chuckles is a god. Plain and simple, he is a god. Teleports in behind Pandemonium, allows Gruff to get in there. Liquid Renegade comes and steals away the Fire Giant because they were just trying to fight El Chuckles in the Fire Giant pit for some reason instead of leashing it. And now they're gonna get cost with a Phoenix here.
Alright, Rob Diggity low, Richard Castle roots him in base, up into the sky, Road takes Liquid Renegade, but I'm a Monster comes through, doesn't land, Liquid Renegade taken low, and now Pandemonium are on the attack. If they can get the Fire Giant off a couple of these Avant members, it's going to be a bonus for them. El Chuckles taken low, stunned in place by Richard Castle, crits coming through, Gruff channeling his ultimate meditation from El Chuckles, and now suddenly Avant are turning this fight, Row destroyed there by Ardivine and Gruff, Richard Castle taken out of the fight by El Chuckles. It's just 3 members of Pandas left to defend this Phoenix. The turnaround was so swift and sudden from Avant, and also so swift and sudden is this Phoenix's demise here as Avant-Garde claim the first Firebird.
And then looking at another one in this mid lane, just grouping up and waiting for Liquid Renegade to make his slow rotation down this mid lane. But they're not even waiting for him. They're going to go on Kikyomiya already. Take him down to about half HP. The tier can no longer defend this Phoenix in the mid lane. It's up to a Cheetah and Maxon.
Divine knocked up there. Cheetah mistimed his Spirit Arrow, and so Divine's going to be able to walk away. Maxon trying to slow him there with the Pulse, but not going to be able to do it. But Pandas managed to defend their middle Phoenix, so all is not lost there, but definitely a significant step back for Team Pandemonium. The lead is now 5,500 experience, 3,800 gold in favor of Avant-Garde after that, just plain and simple, that terrible Fire Giant call to not leash it.
The Fire Giant call itself was a fantastic call. They saw everybody from Avant-Garde back, and it was a correct decision. But then not leashing it, then trying to fight in the Fire Giant pit against El Chuckles, who was obviously just waiting for Liquid Renegade to come back to blink in and steal it. That was the mistake from Pandemonium, and that could potentially also cost them the game.
Yep, just the decision not to leash, this decision not to just let it go and deal with the members that came in. I didn't even see how Chuckles got in there, but all of Avant just seemed to suddenly appear out of nowhere for Team Pandemonium, and they just didn't quite have the burst damage to finish it off. But also, as you said, Chuckles is a god, managed to get in there. The team of Avant-Garde made the right call, and now they take the Gold Fury as well. 15 to 16 is the kills in favor of Avant-Garde, experience and gold going their way as well.
And also the build decision coming out from El Chuckles as well is phenomenal. Going in max CDR as quickly as possible with the Omens of Wrath and Breastplate of Valor, doing a phenomenal amount of damage with that build too. And then just going straight defense with the Hide of the Urchin. And now recognizing that the Freya is starting to come online, starting to do a lot of damage, gets the Runic Shield to lessen the output from this Hypercarry ADC. But it's going to be very difficult for Maxon to really kill El Chuckles if he gets anywhere near him. Engagement on the left. They're going in as El Chuckles with that dazzling offense, but out comes Terra's Blessing, but the fight is already broken out. I'm a Monster completely off the mark. The freeze completely off the mark as well. And Avant-Garde, they missed a lot of abilities, but the taunt is a code. It's very hard to miss that one. And now going in is Kikyomiya, finds a double Fearless, and looking for Rob Diggity and Liquid Renegade. I don't think they're going to be able to find any of them. A lot of abilities used, a lot of ultimates used, no kills found just yet.
And Gruff managed to base there, comes back in, Liquid Renegade blinks forward, but Gruff had already slammed down on the ground. Kikyomiya flanked, got an excellent Fearless Power Cleave combo, but the rest of his team was being zoned by Liquid Renegade and Gruff, and he gets absolutely bursted down, chunked into the ground, and now Avant-Garde are on the offensive again. Tier 2 tower is all that stands between them and the left-hand side Phoenix, and they're going to get this one for free. Team Pandemonium recognizing now is not the place to make our stand. You can have that tower.
It's just the fact that Pandemonium seem to be fighting 6 versus 5 right now, because Gruff goes in gets a lot of purification, gets a lot of relic usage out of Pandemonium, then goes back to base and ults back in with the Defender of Olympus, back into full HP and full mana. It's very difficult for them to kill this Athena, but they're going to try to defend their Phoenix here, already down to half HP, and the fight breaks out. Gruff getting sashed out there, but Ro turned on immediately.
Absolutely demolished by Avant. The Renegade might fall down here. He's very low. Walls don't connect. Excellent loop though from Max. It should be able to get it. But the turnaround, the excellent wall from Liquid Renegade as well, saves his life. And Pandemonium just can't seem to find the kill. They do manage to get Gruff Idivine in the Armor Monster ultimate just to get himself away here. Valkyrie's discretion used by Max and trying to get the kill, but he just can't find it here. Avant-Garde disengaging, but Pandemonium need to be careful. They could be turned on here. An instant whoop used on Rob Diggity again. Crushing walls. Ochita claims the kill.
And also, Liquid Renegade, he didn't want to see what happened to his fallen brother. He just walled him off. Just cover your eyes. Cover your eyes.
Yeah. Lest we forget.
Lest we forget. The tale of Sir Rob Diggity.
Alrighty, 28.25 minutes into the game, 7,000 experience, 7,800 gold, all in favor of Avant-Garde. The gold difference is starting to tell. The experience difference as well is significant between the solo laners. Kikiomio 3 levels behind El Chuckles. Now, Kikiomio has essentially been able to frontline for his team. What he's turned into is a fearless power cleave bot. That's what he's been trying to do. He's been doing so successfully, but the timing of it just hasn't been there. It hasn't been able to be followed up by his team. Fire Giant started up by Team Pandemonium. Gruff is up, does have Defender of Olympus available, but it looks like Pandemonium just trying to bait. Here comes the Defender of Olympus. Chuckles dashes in. Gruff gets a taunt down onto Maxon, slams down the shield wall. The CC chain from Avant-Garde, and the burst is real. Divine is on a rampage, and now it looks like Ro's his next target. Ro trying to get out. Ro falls down to Liquid Renegade. The Fire Giant assisted him there with that kill. Divine dashes in. Richard Castle, no, that's Kikiomio, his brother, that's desperately trying to get out. Uses the Lawbringer and dashes away. Liquid Renegade, though, blinks through the wall, freezes the tier in place, slams down the ice. Kikiomio heals up. Richard Castle heals him with the meditation, but it's not going to be enough. Liquid Renegade, no, that's Idivine with the kill there. And Avant-Garde, they are advancing on the right-hand side. Phoenix, and I don't think that Ochita's going to be able to defend this.
He doesn't have his World Weaver also, but Richard Castle can't do too much as a Terra. Very low damage output at this stage of the game. And my monster comes out of the Titan, falls down. Avant-Garde take game 1.
What a contest between these two. Avant-Garde out on top in the first game there. And it's just like, what do you expect Team Pandemonium to do there? CC comboed into oblivion. The Freya was doing as much damage as she could. The Neath was doing as much as she could, but it just wasn't enough in the end. The front line and the CC from Avant-Garde and the huge amount of damage coming out from Atsilla was enough to carry them in the first game.
And I'm having a look at the player damage right now. Scylla sitting atop the charts at 39,000. The next highest was maxed on 28,000. That is ridiculous. Idivine building out so much damage. That's good to how safe the comp from Avant-Garde was. Pandemonium, yes, they had 100% win rates across the board on their respective picks. But the team comp itself together just didn't really work out. They had a lot of single target damage, a lot of pick-off potential, and weren't able to execute it in the early game. And that just let Avant-Garde do what they want in the late game.
All right, we're going to take a short break here, and then we'll be back with number 2 between Avant-Garde and Team Pandemonium. Don't go anywhere.